Welcome to the IELTS Time podcast. I'm your host, and today we're exploring a Part 2 cue card. Describe a crowded place you've been to. You should say when you went there, where the place is, or was, who you went there with, and explain how you felt about the place. As always, let's hear what Joseph has to say.
Last summer, I visited Beijing, China, for the first time. One of my closest friends from university is from Beijing. He's an international student in my program, and he invited me to spend part of the summer with his family. And I'd never been to China before, so I was really excited and honestly a bit nervous. One of the places we visited was the Great Wall of China, specifically the battling section, which I later found out is one of the most popular and crowded parts. We went on a Saturday morning during the school holidays, so it was absolutely packed. I mean, there were hundreds, maybe thousands of people climbing up and down the steps. At some points, it felt like we were just inching forward in a slow-moving line. Even though the crowds were overwhelming at times, I didn't really mind. There was something incredible about the energy. People of all ages and from all over the world were there. And for me, it was a surreal moment. I'd always heard about the Great Wall. I'd seen pictures, maybe a few documentaries, but being there in person was something else. The view was stunning. The wall stretched endlessly over the mountains, and the air, despite the crowd, felt crisp and fresh. What made it even more special was being there with my friend. He told me stories about how he'd visited the wall as a kid, and he explained some of the history that I probably wouldn't have known otherwise. That made the experience feel more personal, like I wasn't just a tourist, but someone being shown a piece of his culture. To be honest, it was exhausting. It was hot, crowded, and the steps were steep, but it was one of the most unforgettable experiences I've ever had. You always hear about places like the Great Wall, but actually standing on it is a totally different experience. It made the world feel both bigger and more connected somehow.
That was an excellent answer from Joseph. He took us on a vivid journey to the Great Wall of China, specifically the busy, battling section, sharing not just the facts, but the feelings and atmosphere. His response was filled with vivid expressions like absolutely packed and shoulder to shoulder, which really brought the crowded scene to life. I loved how he called the experience surreal. That's a fantastic word to describe something that feels almost dreamlike or hard to believe until you're actually there. Joseph's story wasn't just about the crowd. What made it stand out was how personal it felt, talking about visiting with a close friend from university who knows the place intimately. That personal touch is gold for IELTS speaking because it shows you're connecting emotionally with your experience, not just reciting facts. I know not everyone will get a chance to visit iconic places like the Great Wall, and that's totally fine. The good news is, a crowded place doesn't have to be a famous tourist site halfway across the world. It could be somewhere very close to you, even part of your daily life. Imagine describing a local music festival or concert. You could talk about the sea of people gathering in the park, the mix of excitement and impatience as the crowd waits for the headlining band, the smell of street food blending with the sounds of cheering, and how you navigated through the throng to find a good spot. Adding details like the heat, the push and pull of the crowd, and your emotions, maybe feeling thrilled but a bit overwhelmed, makes your answer vivid and real. Or think about a busy shopping mall during a holiday sale. Picture long queues stretching all the way from the entrance, shoppers bustling from store to store, some frantically grabbing last-minute deals, and the noise of chatter, footsteps, and rolling shopping carts everywhere. Maybe you found yourself stuck near the checkout, watching people juggling shopping bags while trying to stay patient. Describing those little moments brings the story alive. Public transport is another perfect example. Picture a packed subway at rush hour, people squeezed together like sardines, everyone quietly avoiding eye contact. The awkward dance of people trying to get on and off at crowded stations. You could talk about the exhaustion after standing for 30 minutes,